Imagine for a moment that Amazon teams up with Facebook and they snitch on you to the government. Wait a minute. Never mind. This is a reality in China. Right now, the Chinese government is teaming up with two of the biggest social networks to create something akin to the credit score. But in China, it's not going to be measuring your ability to pay back. It's going to be measuring your ability to obey the government and what the system wants you to do, Nick. And this sounds really, really scary. We learned this from Oxford University China expert Roger Kremers that put together a translation of the planning outline for the construction of a social credit system. This is a government report in China. Basically, what they're trying to do is source your social media connections and your purchasing behavior and the books that you read and everything that these social networks have access about you and your friends. And with all of that, they're going to grade you in a scale. First, in the initial phase that people can opt in, is basically about the economics of it, about how much you can pay back your score for that. But increasingly, and after 2020, that this is going to be a mandatory thing for everyone in China, eventually, they're going to start tracking the type of posts that you put up in Weibo. These are the two companies that are most involved, is Weibo, which is the Chinese version of Twitter, and Alibaba, which is the Chinese version of Amazon. Basically, it's Amazon customer tracking put together with your social media cloud, and that will get surrendered to the government. The government will create a scale saying, well, I just saw that you did a post on something that is not allowed by the government. So this is going to not only affect you and your score, it's also going to affect your friends' scores. So immediately you involve peer pressure into the equation, creating a self-serving system of vigilance, where if you are doing something wrong and you are my friend, I have to prevent you because you're going to affect my score.
This is terrifying. It's Orwellian in nature, and it's really worrying to me. But perhaps, for me, the most sickening part of this whole thing is the fact that it's in the form of a game. You know what I mean? It's like let's make sure we can get as many people on this thing and trick them into joining this thing by putting up this veil of a game. And a lot of people love playing computer games in China. That's a huge thing that they're going on.
Video game
it's become an issue, right? So that in itself is kind of the worst part, that they kind of want to get everyone inside of this one system. I don't like that crap, and it just shows the direction certain countries are going in. I mean, one could say that similar stuff is happening here too, I guess.
If you look at things in a certain way, the social engineering that has come out of Silicon Valley is no different from this, just at the core of it. Okay. Oh no, we're talking about a government that are trying to implement and use mobile applications and cloud computing in order to control the population. Now, in Silicon Valley, not necessarily it's a government that is trying to control your behavior, but it's behind this idea of disruption, the idea that through technology we can change the way we do things. We've immediately created a system where we nudge people into behaving a certain way. Netflix created binge watching. Swiping right with Tinder came a different way of meeting people. Like that, Uber, for that matter, changed the way we transport ourselves. So we do find that technology creates these opportunities for humans to change their behavior. But if you compound that with a social system that is keeping a tab on you, because whatever you do is going to affect me in the eyes of the government, I think that's when it's getting really, really dangerous. Now, the rollout in January of this game called Sesame Credit is being downplayed in China by saying this is something that we just want to create to elaborate more in the way our citizens do business and their ability to pay, but also compound their ability to be good citizens, which is a high order in China. Now, here in the United States, the American Civil Liberties Union, they say, well, this is really dangerous. We have Alibaba and Tencent, which run all of the social media networks in China, having access to most of the data. And this data can be used in any way. Here in the States, we are prey mostly to the marketers and, in the worst case scenario, to the NSA, not to the interest of the government directly endorsing and paying for the development of this tool. I think that's when we see that, it makes me think that back in the day, the KGB, these police state organizations, they will infiltrate dissent and convince the most extreme to come forward and say, yes, let's do actions against the government, and immediately they will get arrested. Now they are outsourcing that to the people, to your friends on Facebook, to your friends on Twitter. Depending on what you post, depending on what you buy, depending on what you read, you're going to be qualified. If you're Chinese, right now, in the future, who knows, maybe other countries will adopt this way of qualifying their citizens in terms of social behavior.